Hey guys, it's VIBro here again. Welcome to another video, and today it's a formation tutorial, and I'll be teaching us and I'll be guiding us on I'll be having tutorials on how to use the 4-2-1-3 formation best. Actually different types of 4-3-3 formation the best, as is in most games actually, but today it's the 4-2-1-3 formation that we're going to be talking about. So I'll be taking us on a walkthrough on how I think it's best to use the 4-2-1-3 formation best here out. So we're going to be checking out every nooks and crannies on how to use the 4-2-1-3 formation. So we're going to be checking out different instructions, different tactics. We're going to be checking out different play instructions. We're going to be checking out different mark settings. We're going to be checking out every angle of just how to use the 4-2-1-3 formation in the best way possible, which I think is cool. So yeah, but before we go into the immense details, I'll be changing my formation into the 4-2-1-3 formation, changing 4-2-1-3 formation. Four two one three, 4-2-1-3. Where are you? 1 2 3 4. Yeah, I think we just found the 4-2-1-3 formation. Yeah, in regards to the 4-2-1-3 formation, before I go into the substitutions of players, I'll be checking out the attacking instructions. The attacking instructions, attacking styles, I usually prefer you when we play the counter attack style instead of the possession game style. Possession game style is actually cool when you're ahead in the match, when you're already leading, but when you're starting the match, as in the kickoff mode, I prefer it when you use the attacking style. Why? Because this always pushes the attack right from the beginning of the match, because it's always best to start your attack it's always best to start the game the way you want it from the beginning. So that actually makes it easier to score goals, and especially if you're playing a very attacking game, it's actually best to play attacking games more than defensive games, especially when you're starting, because you have to have the forward foot in this situation. So I think the best attacking style to use for the 4-2-1-3 formation is the counter attack formation. The build-up style, I actually prefer the short pass system to the long pass system. The long pass system is actually very aggressive, but I think the short pass system is a very easy way to cover up for your mistakes, because nobody's perfect. So when you make those mistakes, because the players are actually close to each other, they can cover up for your mistakes, and they can take in the positions that will enable quick counters, because some instructions actually contradict each other. Well, that's what I noticed in this person. Some instructions contradict each other. So whenever you're using the counter attacking style, it's actually better to use the short pass system. Well, you could use the long pass system, but that's going to make it way more aggressive. It's going to open up your defense, because it's going to open up your defense and your midfield. And if your midfield and your defense is open up, then you're on the downside when it comes to counter attacks from your opposition. So I think the short pass system is actually the best position. Your attacking position should be the center position, because that's what I do. I think since the goal is at the center of the field, it's better to attack from the middle, from the center position. Well, except for if you change some tactics to like the centering target, which automatically makes your players center themselves in the box whenever you're attacking from wide, or you use the wing rotation formation. Well, but we're not dealing with that now at the moment. So I think it's better for you to use the center attacking zone. I think the attacking zone should be the center. So that's what I do. Positioning, I like it when your positioning is flexible, because that helps you to cover up for your mistake. That helps you to cover up for your mistakes. So I think the flexible positioning system is better, because when you use the maintain formation, although that makes the match flow the way you have planned it, but if you're the kind of player who doesn't really play according to tactics, or you have different kind of styles, or you like to adapt to different situations, I think the flexible positioning system is the best for you, because you'll be able to cover for your mistakes, and you can also have a free flow soccer. It's actually more fun to use for me, and the flexible positioning system is more fun compared to the maintained formation system. So support range, I like it where my support range is at the lowest, so that my players can stick together, and it will enable fast passings, because when you're using the counter attack, you also don't want the support range to be so wide. Because when it's so wide, you're just going to run out your players so very quick, because your players are going to try to stay wide. Its support range is actually good on the eyes when you're using the long pass system, but I don't think for these tactics, for the tactics which I think is best, is the short pass system with support range at the lowest, because your players are going to stick together, and it's going to help you to cover for your mistakes if you make any, and it's going to be it's going to be quick. It's going to be actually interesting for the quick counter system, because you're going to be able to have a lot of passing options, a lot of support when you're on the counter attack and when you're trying to score the goal. So that's it for the attacking instructions. And we're going for the defensive instructions. Defensive instructions, I usually prefer it when it's on the front line pressure. I usually prefer when it's on front line pressure. Why? This is because when you choose the all-out defense system, it brings your defenders out, so it makes your defense very open, especially, and it's going to be your team is going to be on the downside when your opposition is on the counter attack, especially if it's a team who's very little on counter attack. So I think it's better to use the front line pressure. Not that your defenders won't be pressurizing at all, but when they see that your opposition is on the counter attack and you're moving close to the defensive line, then they begin to pressurize and try as much as possible to win the ball back. So I think that's the best defensive style. Then containment area, I like it when the containment area is on the wide level, because when it's on the wide level, you are trying to digress the focus of your opposition from the middle to the wide. Why? Because normally you want to score and the goal is at the middle, but when your containment area is on the wide side, then you're digressing your focus from the center where they are actually attacking to the wide. The only downside of this instruction is that it opens up your defense, because even your fullbacks and your center backs will also want to assist in the containing of your opposition in the wide. So as they are containing your position to the wide side, they are also opening up the defense, so that could be lethal for counter attacks of the opposition. But if you're the kind of player who is good at covering up for mistakes, when you have the support range to be at the lowest and you have the short pass system, so I think that mistake should be can be easily covered up for. So actually, and the pressure system, I prefer the aggressive pressure system to the conservative pressure system. It's like when the match is full of action, because when the match is full of action, you force your opponent to make their mistakes, and when your opponents make the mistakes, it gives you the upper hand at the match. So I think I prefer the aggressive system to the conservative system, because the conservative system only gives the defenders the instructions to pressurize, especially when it's very close to the goalkeeper's line. Like as you can see here, the first defender will hold up opposition attackers by keeping them out an arm's length rather than moving in and risk being beaten. So I think the aggressive pressure system is actually better, because the first defender will move in to shut down opposing attacks in an effort to win the ball back. So the aggressive system always ensures that you win the ball back as fast as possible, and you shouldn't waste any time once you can win the ball back. The defensive line, you like it when the defensive line is not too forward and it's not too backward. So I like it when the defensive line is at the middle. So I like the defensive line, the defensive line, the further up the defensive line, because when it's so forward, if especially when your opposition is playing the long balls, when a chip through pass could be placed and it just displaces the whole of your defense line. So the center of your goalkeeper line is actually free, and when it's too forward, it's like you're inviting your opposition to come so close, and that could be very dangerous for your clean sheet. So I like it when it's at the middle. So when it's at the middle, so compactness, I like it when the defense is so compact, so it gives the opposition very little options, because it gives the opposition very little options because all your defense is very close and tight together. So it enhances the level of teamwork in your team, which is actually very cool, because when the compactness is actually wide, it gives this compactness level. The lowest compactness level is only good whenever your opposition is attacking from the wide range or from the wide level, but the high compactness level is actually very cool. The high compactness level is actually very cool whenever you're trying to keep your defense very tight and avoid goals. So that's it for the defensive instructions. And for the advanced instructions, I personally play the false number 9. False number 9. The false number 9 is a kind of formation that makes your center forward to come into the middle. It's a kind of formation that makes the center forward to come into the middle. Then it gives your attacking strikers the opportunity to attack, and your left wing forwards also the opportunity to attack, and your right wing forwards the opportunity to attack. The false number 9 tactic or instructions is actually very good, especially when your opposition has a mark settings on your center forward, so that digresses the attention of your opposition's defenders from the forefront where you attack, and that gives your other players the opportunity to score goals, because 4 heads are actually better than one. So when you have the likes of Mohamed Salah here, when you have the likes of your left wing forward, your attacking midfielder, and your right wing forward pushing on the attack, when if only your center forward is at the middle, so that digresses that distracts your opposition defenders from where they're actually supposed to be. So the false number 9 system is actually very cool. The offense system, the offense number 2, I actually play the centering targets, because even if you're playing the center attacking style or the wide attacking style, I think the centering targets, because you always need players in the box. You always need players in the box, whether you're playing wide or center. You always need players in the box to always assist you whenever you want to score goals. Maybe you have a through pass into the box, or you have a chip through pass, or you have an early cross, or any type of cross that has to do with something in the box. So it's always very cool, because you're going to have that extra support in the box when you're attacking from maybe a wide range or maybe even a close range. So it's always very cool whenever you're attacking, when you're in the offense, when you're the counter attack, to have extra hands in the box. So I prefer the centering targets as my offense too. And in terms of defense, in regards to defense, my defense 1, I usually like the swarm the box. So whenever your opposition is on the counter, that instruction gives your defenders, or even your defensive midfielders, the defensive instructions to always keep tight in the box. So that assists the compactness level, which we did here to be the highest, because it's not actually good when your instructions contradict each other. So the swarm the box is also complementing the highest compactness level, which is actually good, because it gives your opponents, like I said, very little options, and it forces them to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, you're back in possession of the game, so that helps you to be able to counter attack and win the matches. So in regards to my defense too, I'll be using the Japan press. I actually use the Japan press or the counter charge, because this defense, in regards to the Japan press, the only downside of the Japan press is that it actually requires a lot of stamina. So when you're playing the Master League or a real match that doesn't require a lot of stamina, you could actually use a Japan press. But when you're playing an exhibition match, when you're playing an online match or a Master League match, it's better that you use the Japan press very late in the match, and maybe when you're trailing and you need something very quick, like a miracle or a drastic change in tactics, or a drastic motivation for your players. That's when the Japan press is actually fantastic to come in. But I actually prefer the counter charger, because the counter charger assists the attack. So the player that you think is the best at your finishing is the one that you should set the counter charger upon. I actually set my counter charger on my best finisher, and in this case, I think before I do that, I'm going to be using the support settings, because those settings are not correct. I can't have Van Dijk at the forefront. Yeah, I think it's really cool now. So now that I have in my advanced instructions on my defense too, I have Neymar, I have Kylian Mbappe, and I have Mohamed Salah. So I could give it to Kylian Mbappe, but since I'm playing the false number 9 tactics, it's actually very contradicting, because my center forward is going to be coming into the midfield, and my attacking midfielders are going to be pushing it forward. So it's either I give it to De Bruyne, that is my attacking midfielder, or I give it to Neymar Jr. or Mohamed Salah, the player that I think is the best finisher between Neymar, De Bruyne, or Mohamed Salah, or the angle that you think you attack best. The person who is always at the forefront of the angle that you think you attack best is the person that you should put your counter target upon. So I'll be putting on Neymar Jr. Why? That's because I think is the best finisher, and I always attack most of the time from the right angle. So I think that's all for the advanced instructions. And the mark settings are not actually necessary for a formation, for a present formation, which is a 4-2-3-1 formation. It's actually cool to use a mark settings. I could just put my best defender. I actually use it when I actually like to put my second best defender, which is in this case Sergio Ramos, in the mark settings, so that my best defender is going to be able to attack, is going to be able to defend the other attackers, such as the attacking midfielder or the left midfielder or the other attacking midfielders, as the case may be. But I actually like to use my second best center back to mark the center forward of the opposing team. That's if my opposing team has just one center forward, but in other cases that maybe my opposing team is using a 4-3-3 formation and he has three strikers, I might not do the max settings for everything because I don't know the kind of tactics that my opposition might be using. So, and sometimes when you use the max settings the wrong way, it actually opens up your defense. And the last thing you want to do in PES is to open up your defense, especially when you're playing against a very dangerous opponent, because that is going to cost you a lot of goals and you're actually going to lose the match. Actually, you're going to lose the match if you get your mark settings wrong. So I actually like to just mark one or two players. I don't like to mark more than two players, except for when you're playing against someone who is very, very dangerous on counter attack. Then you can use your defensive midfielders to mark the other players. Like you can use your defensive midfielder to mark your attacking midfielder. You can use the other defensive midfielder to mark your right midfielder there. So that instead of opening up your defense, it just makes your play more defensive by bringing in your defensive midfielders, by giving them that instruction that's going to enforce them to be able to carry out their tactics, their instructions better. So I think that's all for the max settings. In conclusion, don't use all your defenders for the max settings because that will actually open up your defense, especially when you're marking someone who is not a center forward, because the center forward is actually to stay at the forefront, so that's not so efficient. But when you start marking a right wing forward or an attacking midfielder or a left wing forward, that could actually open up your defense. So you don't use all of your defenders on the max settings. On the fluid formation, I don't do fluid formation, but the little knowledge I have for the fluid formation, if you're going to be using the fluid formation at kickoff, you could use the formation that you want to use at kickoff. You're going to be using when you're in possession of the ball. But when you are out of possession, you could actually set it to a very defensive formation, a formation that enforces winning the ball back as soon as possible. So that's going to be. And for the attacking instructions, you could use possession game. For the build up, you use long ball. I think you might not really want to tamper with your attacking instructions when you're using the fluid formation when out of position. I meant when out of position. But when in regards to your defensive instructions, you might want to change a lot of things. If you use the all-out defensive style, since you're trying to win the ball back as soon as possible, and since that's not your permanent tactic, so you could use the all-out defense just to win the ball back and then move back to your normal style. Your containment area could remain wide. Your pressure absolutely will be cool when it's aggressive. Your defensive line, you keep your defensive line. Your compactness should be enough, but you could change your advanced instructions. Slam the box is actually cool, or you could set. Some the box is actually cool. You could use tight marking whenever you're out of position. You could use tight marking. You should tight mark the players that you think always have most of the possession on the ball. Yeah, I'm sure it's absolutely not going to be your center forward. It's going to be your playmaker, the opposition's playmaker. So you could actually tight mark your opposition's attacking midfielder and your counter. You can change it from counter terrier to jipping press. That's when you're out of position. So that's actually very cool. So hey guys, so I think we have come to the end of the formation tutorial, and you guys could watch out for the matches as it comes, because I'll be playing a match that has to do with a 4-3-3 formation using this kind of tactics. And this is VIBro signing out. See you guys next time.